Hello there. Welcome to another edition of The Monarchy with me, Samson Sees, here on Press TV. For those of you new to this program, we give you alternative stories about the not-so-okay UK. These are the very issues that are not being addressed on mainstream media networks. Some of these issues even get more depressing when you keep digging down the rabbit hole. Take the VIP paedophile ring, for example. Some of the top figures in the British Parliament and even Buckingham Palace have been sexually exploiting young, innocent people for years. This disturbing truth has been happening for decades. Good old UK law for you there. The police cannot even get near these sick people. It wasn't that long ago that those who claimed that there was a massive paedophile ring involving officials in the highest levels of government were written off as conspiracy theorists and kooks. That is no longer the case, at least in the UK. It turns out that this so-called conspiracy theory was true and is finally being officially investigated.
A powerful elite of at least 20 prominent establishment figures formed a VIP paedophile ring that abused children for decades. Senior politicians, military figures, and even people linked to the royal family are among the alleged abusers. Peter McKelvey, the former child protection officer who first raised the alarm about high-profile individuals engaged in child sex abuse, said that their campaign of abuse may have been going on for as long as 65 years, but there has always been the block and the cover-up and the collusion to prevent an investigation.
Over the years, we've received many allegations of abuse at the highest levels of government. Past prime ministers, past senior members of the British cabinet have been mentioned as abusing children. It doesn't get much worse than that. We're talking about the worst kind of crime committed by the people who are supposed to be running the country.
A teenage boy working at Buckingham Palace revealed he was groomed and sexually abused by a VIP paedophile ring there. The lad was also assaulted at the royal family's Scottish retreat Balmoral. In a heartbreaking note, the boy, then just 16, told how he was the victim of exploitation of the highest order. The disturbing account was passed directly to the then Home Secretary Leon Britton, but he ruled it was not practical to investigate. Palace officials have already been linked to the notorious brothel, the Elm Guest House in southwest London. It was first in 2008 that news about deep roots of paedophilia inside Buckingham Palace emerged. Former Buckingham Palace butler was unmasked as a sexual predator who ran a paedophile ring while serving the royal family. Bachelor Paul Kidd, 55, was leading a secret double life as a serial child abuser who molested a string of boys over a 30-year period.
Well, it seems that in Great Britain, protecting paedophile politicians is now turning to a matter of national security. Those with the sickest minds and who wish to act upon their destructive fantasies understand that they can most easily get away with their deeds if they are protected by an aura of power and ostensible respectability.
Government will establish an independent inquiry panel of experts in the law and child protection to consider whether public bodies and other non-state institutions have taken seriously their duty of care to protect children from sexual abuse.
Victims of child sexual abuse have warned Theresa May they will withdraw from the government's controversial official inquiry unless major changes are made. In an open letter, 24 signatories claimed the inquiry as it stands is not fit for purpose because of what it is being asked to examine and the proposed chairs. The signatories said they had no option but to end engagement with the inquiry until Mrs. May scrapped the current panel, replacing it on a transparent basis, declared a statutory inquiry and extended the cut-off date to 1945. They wrote to Home Secretary Theresa May's officials complaining the Home Office seems to be running the inquiry to meet others' needs rather than those of survivors.
We need three things: justice and support for victims, the truth about what happened and how the Home Office and others responded, and stronger child protection and reforms for the future.
After the release of a report into Home Office cover-ups last month, Mr. Cameron seemed to dismiss survivors' concerns, saying some who've been looking for conspiracy theories will have to look elsewhere.
I blame them as much as I do my perpetrators, and I at least want an apology for the way that I was treated. Because as an adult woman, as a child I didn't know any different, but as an adult woman, I now know that the way I was treated was not correct, was not right, and shouldn't have happened. And not just with me, but then continued to happen with other people.
Meanwhile, child abuse survivors want the timescale of the inquiry into VIP paedophiles pushed back to the 1950s to avoid a whitewash. Groups representing the abused also want a dedicated police unit to examine evidence uncovered during the probe to ensure no powerful culprits escape justice. However, victims' calls fell on deaf ears, and May snubbed sex abuse victims for trip to Brussels. She skipped the emotional meeting where victims were demanding that the troubled historical abuse inquiry starts as soon as possible. She had already warned that allegations of child sex abuse by a Westminster paedophile ring represent only the tip of the iceberg.
Just a reminder, the royal family is granted absolute protection from public scrutiny in a controversial legal reform designed to draw a veil of secrecy over the affairs of the Queen, Prince Charles and Prince William. With the elite paedophile ring now being exposed in the UK, all roads are leading to the British royal family. Some claim this law was passed to keep this connection hidden, but as we now know, Prince Charles's favourite was Jimmy Savile, who is the biggest paedophile and necrophiliac in modern British history.